So this video is about the top 5 passive income streams that I do and I know people around me do. So the first one I'm going to talk about for passive income is going to be real estate. It's proven time and time again that even with inflation, cost of living going up, that you can generate that income through rental and you can still have a decent benefit, plus then the property value in the house, which then gets you more equity in the house and more money that you can potentially free up, which then again escalates, and it can also snowball effect, which can lead to you, if done correctly, into buying more properties or making more money short term than what it would do just by putting your savings in a savings account with the bank at like 0.1%, 0.5 if that. With real estate, so in the housing market, so again also known as buy-to-lets in the UK, the most difficult part of getting on the property ladder is your deposit. So you are needing a slightly higher deposit than what you would do residential, and again it's just seeking out the correct advice and actually speaking to a financial advisor or a mortgage broker who can put you and steer you in the right direction. What we do in our company is we actually help you start to finish. So we may have a meeting that you're not ready, but we can certainly help you how to get there. So when you are ready to do your first property, you know exactly what to do and when you're ready, and then what to expect going forward. Now, like I said, the hardest part of this is actually saving your deposit, especially if you've already got a residential in the house, you've got a mortgage, you've got bills coming out, and that does tie up quite a lot. But then if you're fortunate and you can get to that stage where you can actually buy a buy-to-let property, this is a great way to bring in passive income. It brings in a high amount of income if done correctly. And like I said, with the property market, it does go up and down. So the risk to that is the property could go in negative equity if done incorrectly, or if the market was to crash for any reason. But time and time again, the market's always bounced back. So the equity has always been more. There are always risks into that factor. You could have a bad tenant that maybe is a sitting tenant, they don't pay their rental, and you would have to pay that mortgage. So again, they are the bad points into a rental, but the good points of it will outweigh the bad ones, especially if you get a really good tenant and you've invested, say, 25,000 into a £100,000 property, and maybe you're generating £500 a month or £450 a month. What bank account are you ever going to put £25,000 in that's going to generate you that type of income? Of course, with this, there can be costs associated with this. So, you know, you are probably going to have to speak to a tax advisor to make sure there's no extra implications. Does it put you over a threshold? Does it put you into a different tax band? How can it look better? You know, it can spiral. So there are a lot more to buy-to-let properties. Second passive income is content creators. So like this, for example, this is me creating content. Okay, it doesn't generate me any sort of cash, but there are people out there who do make a good living out of it, and they do create really good content. It does take a very long time because we do actually generate income off other contents, but this one specifically we don't get anything from, because it is literally just started up and it is just something that I'm using to get information out there rather than using it as a passive income at this moment in time. Now, I know plenty of friends who use TikTok and Instagram who actually get paid a lot just to post a picture or post a video and get sponsors from it, and all they've got to do is create that content. So it's hard in getting that going because you've got to keep constant at it, you've got to maintain it, you've got to keep giving these posts and videos, and you've got to give it a lot of time because it does actually take up quite a lot of time and the consistency in it. But once you get to that point where you do have enough followers, or you've got that viewing, and you will actually see the benefit of it. It is tougher to break into because pretty much everybody's doing it, every single business is doing it, because it gets that wider market and it makes everything unlimited. Where in the brokerage world, for example, which is what I do, before COVID, we were quite restricted to the towns that we lived in or the counties that we lived in, and you had to see people face to face or you go and see them. COVID then hit, and we can do a lot of the things electronically, so on Teams or Zoom, and that now actually broadens how we can make money, and that's just the way that the industry is actually going. So it does go down to content creation, because again, if I didn't create content, I wouldn't be hitting that wider market. So just by creating that content, it does find that wider market, which then get back in contact for us, and then that generates us more business, and also for other people that will generate more passive income, probably to their 9-to-5 job. So it's another add-on effect. Online courses. So if you're like me, I am obsessed with learning. I might never use it, but I'm always interested in it. I might not use it now, but I might use it in 10 years time, or it might just give me that little bit of an oomph to make me different to somebody else who's doing the same role or doing the same thing as me. So online courses, amazing. Love them, join them. I am a fan of them. Again, the whole COVID, pre-COVID, they were common, but not as common. Where now, because we've had the whole COVID situation, everything can be done online. And there are a lot more online courses to do. Now, the person behind the screen doing that online course, again, they could be sat in a county in the UK where prior to this online course, they may only see people in their town or their county. But now making an online course, they can teach people all around the world, UK, outside of the UK, and it gives them another income source just by selling an online course. Now, it could either be a pre-recorded course, so i.e. a video that you can buy and download, which I know a few makeup artists used to do back in the day, and they probably still do to this day now. That generates more income because you've made that content, you've uploaded it onto a website or a platform, for example, and people can continuously download it, and that's going to keep bringing in that income. Yes, P. Louise, for example, she was a rave back then and probably still is now, but what she actually got a rave about was she used to sell online courses for makeup, which pretty much changed the industry, for like, I'm pretty sure it was like £4 or £5. Now, £4 to £5, considering that other makeup artists were probably doing courses to paint their own faces or teach them how to be a makeup artist that were hundreds or thousands of pounds, it was a game changer. Now, where she is today, she has changed the industry of makeup and makeup branding. And if you could probably speak to her today, or if I was able to speak to her today, I reckon that's probably one of the main things that changed her game, was that online course. And that's what I remember her from, and thinking, actually, that's a really, really good idea. If this works off, she's gonna be amazing. She was painting my face, and she was telling me all about it. It was before she launched it. And I thought, you know what, it's a really, really good idea. And I remember being so nervous about it. And you know what, she went and did it. And if you saw her today, and this was a good 10 years ago, but if you saw her today, she's a game changer, and well bloody done to her. And that was all over I think it was a £5 course. I don't, you know, you'd have to ask her or do your research. But again, that online course generated her multiple times of income. Like, her first video could be basics of basic makeup or how to do a basic eye. And everybody around the world could download that, and you can continuously download it. And then there was monthly memberships. So on those monthly memberships, you got access to the online courses before anybody else did. So that's 1 and 2 income sources from an online course. And then that takes me into memberships. So memberships is another great passive income, which I'm probably going to keep in this title because to me they're quite similar. But you could make 2 passive incomes off them depending on obviously your business. But memberships, if you can make a membership scheme, then that's great also. So again, I'm going to use her example because I actually know friends who did her course. But again, they were members while they were learning to be a makeup artist, and they'd be the first ones to see it. So then what they carried on doing is they paid a membership to then get first access to it. So again, great income source. Affiliate links, amazing. So affiliate links, everybody does it. So affiliate links, they don't cost you any more money as the consumer, or the buyer, should I say, but you may see something that I wore, and by me taking the time to tell, you know, instead of messaging a load of people back, you can just put a link out there and you generate an income from that. So what you could actually start seeing is, for example, you could have one platform, you could have one product that you're selling, but you could have multiple ways to make that into different passive incomes online courses, for example, digital marketing, for example, and then the affiliate links, for example. Like, that's 3 different passive incomes from one product that you're selling, and you're also selling that directly. So it's a great way to do it. And what you're doing is then the company itself is paying them commission. So for example, it could be me paying me commission to show off a blazer, for example, where you as the consumer, or you as a client, or you as a viewer, a follower, you go, oh, I like that. And the likelihood is, you know, you might not see my comment, or you might not see my inbox, but if I click on the link, I know exactly where you've got it from, and I can get that. So it's another great way for getting something directly, and it's another great way for a passive income. Amazon is a great one. So Amazon, for example, I get a lot of people asking where house stuff are from, or maybe they've seen it in my story where my little boy has got a toy from, or those One Plastic knives, as awful as it sounds. We were like teaching him how to cut back in the day when it was a banana or whatever else, but it couldn't physically hurt him. And they are still on there if you want to check what I'm even on about. But that was great because I could put it on there and people could buy it. And you could actually see where I've got it from and how much it is. And then I earn a little bit of commission off it. Not loads, but it's still a passive income. I've still made the time and I've made the content. Even I wasn't meaning to back then, but it was still an income that I wanted to make on maternity leave, as a great example. And that was actually generally the reason why I made that. And it turned into something that I didn't expect it to. And that's just living my day-to-day life. Like, I could post something today about cleaning my car, and then maybe something that I've used a tool that's made my life so much easier, that I found some little trick on Amazon, because it's great for that. And I'll have a million inboxes later on today going, where have you got that? Where have you got that from? Just click the link, you get what you want, and then I've made a little bit of passive income. Digital products is another one. So there's plenty of ways to do it. Ebooks, for example, there could be, we've done budget planners where you can actually download Excel forms, live Excel forms that help people at a very, very low cost. And there is no overhead cost to them, because all it's actually taking is my time to make it, put it onto a website, and then people are able to download it. And when they actually be able to download it, it also benefits their life, and it's also cost them a fraction of the price. Where if you go and get a budget planner at the shop, you'll probably spend now £5–10 on one, where it's probably cost you a couple of quid just to download it, and it's there for life. But these are amazing because there's actually really, really low cost to make them. If anything, there are no overheads connected to them, and it continuously builds that passive income for you over time and time and time again. Another thing for content creators is, for example, me, if I haven't got enough time, I'm outsourcing my videos to be edited by somebody else, and he is editing these videos for me if I don't have the chance. And again, for him, that is then in a bracket some way and some form. He then becomes that content editor as part of the content creator. So if only he's saving me so much time, and he knows what he's doing, he also is then making money off the back of it, which is great for him and it's great for me. So it also becomes under quite a lot of brackets. You could do it as product servicing, you could do it as online courses, you could expand to online courses, and it's forever and ever so much different passive incomes that you could make from one product alone if you can make it work and you have the creativity, that anything is possible.